All right, we're hot. We're live.
Let's go.
Fish and Toast, episode 3.
From
How's it going?
Scottsdale.
Yeah, live from Scottsdale. I'll move the camera so maybe you can see the little palm trees out there.
Oh, beautiful.
Nice little
Definitely
fountain.
not seeing that here.
Yes. Yeah. Oh no, yeah, not at all. No palm trees, obviously.
No.
Yeah, it's nice little weather out here. God damn it, I can't get the fucking camera back on there. Yeah, it's been a nice little couple days out here in Scottsdale. Did some golfing yesterday morning.
How did that go?
You know, it's did some good things, did some bad things. You know, you get me to 100 yards, I'm dialed in. It's the getting to 100 yards part is the tough part for me right now. Just absolute struggle bus off the tee.
Are you slicing?
Oh, dude, I can't even get the ball off the ground. Like it is not slicing. When it is off the ground, nasty duck hook left. Dude, just vicious.
Yeah, that's tough.
Like
that's tough.
Protect the women and children. It is coming right for them. Like
the houses around.
So bad, yeah. But
at least you can get it off the tee. You know, that's good.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, I'm here for work and golfed with a couple guys from New York yesterday. Some good dudes, and then
from New York. Why New York?
Well, it's the work thing is it's like a celebration for the for people that won this sales contest last year. So so there's people from there's people from like all over, like, you know, there's a couple people from West Coast cities, you know, Portland, Seattle, LA. There's people from Kansas City, Cleveland, Dallas. It's all over. Philly, Wilkes-Barre. Yeah, you know, it's but yeah, so just got paired up with you know, some random guys and good time. Cool. Yeah. By the way, have you ever had the drink called a transfusion?
I have not. I've heard of it though.
Okay. Yeah, I was surprised. Like I brought it up to I brought it up to my girlfriend. I was like, have you ever had a transfusion? She's like, I've never had to go to a doctor for that. And I'm like, no, not a blood transfusion.
Like yeah, I mean, that's what you immediately think of.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, absolutely fantastic. Go to cocktail on the golf course. I know it's been around for a while, but finally I had my first one yesterday. Life-changing experience.
You're gonna go back to it then?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I could crush grape juice anyways. Like I'm a toddler, so yeah. Put some vodka in it and put some lime.
Ready to go?
Oh yeah. Dial in. Before I get going, I'm actually looking at the TV, and I know it's football season, but have to bring up, my God, Shohei Ohtani yesterday.
Oh man, what a stud! What a stud!
You're fucking kidding me?
I'm so mad that he's not Angel anymore.
Well, he wouldn't have done this as an Angel. We know that. I mean,
yeah, that's true. We don't get anything good these days.
But dude, like I don't even do that in MLB The Show. I don't know if I've ever had a 6-for-6 day myself in MLB The Show.
That's video game numbers.
And my guy's a stud. All right, 2-time AL MVP. But like him getting the 50-50 is one thing, but 6-for-6, 3 home runs, 2 stolen bases, and 10 RBIs in a single game.
Yeah, just putting on a clinic.
That is so fucking stupid. I can't believe it. Like him setting the record and going like 5 for 5. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then he just gets up there and hits another home run. It's like, dude, you can stop now. Like it's good. You're good.
We're okay. Like you made your point. You guys put up 20 runs. Like it's okay.
Jesus Christ. So, but yeah, the Thursday night game last night, boy, that under hit.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much how you, like we were texting and pretty much how you said, like.
Yeah, it's like the Jets offense has been uninspiring, but it could be the week that they pop off. And then I don't trust the Patriots offense one bit. And that's basically what happened. Like 24 points by the Jets, but Aaron Rodgers, like his stat line, I mean, he threw the ball like 35 times. What was it for like 280 yards, 2 tutties?
Yeah, I mean, they were able to establish the run there in the second half too, which really helped kind of melt some clock and not really give the ball back to Jacoby Brissett or at the end Drake May. So,
dude, did you see that hit that Drake May? I forget who laid it on him, but someone from the Jets just absolutely demolished Drake May.
Dude, Drake May and Jacoby Brissett were getting killed in the pocket all night, like even after they were throwing too. So, I mean, I think Jacoby Brissett has some rib issues after that game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Drake May had some rib issues too. Like, he was getting dominated. Yeah, I mean, are the Jets good? I mean, they have literally not played anybody to start. I mean, outside of their first game with the 49ers, and then, kind of surprised about how that went.
I think it's a game-to-game basis with them. I think it's quality opponent, and I think they'll do decent in their division. But, like, when you get up against the big boys like San Fran and anyone else who can kind of push around them, then I think they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Rodgers did get out and run from the pocket a little bit yesterday, which I was kind of surprised. It was good to see him getting up a little bit, but you could tell that he's very cautious, and everyone around him, especially his teammates, are like, don't even touch him. Don't touch him. They run right over to him and get him up and make sure he's all right. Like, he's fragile. So
he's an old man. He's an old man, Tanner.
Yeah. I mean, also New England yesterday, Ramondre Stevenson only got 6 carries. So
that's not a winning formula there in New England.
They just didn't have the ball because Jacoby Brissett only threw the ball 18 times. And then
they had like 40 minutes of possession, the Jets did, or something like that.
They just killed the clock and pretty much dominated the ball, and that's what you need for that game script and the under to hit is you kill that much clock.
This was a stat I saw last night that it was the Jets 400 plus yards of offense, 40 plus minutes of time of possession, 0 turnovers, 0 touchdown allowed, 7 plus sacks. No other NFL team in the Super Bowl has done all that in a game.
Yeah, that's impressive. That's a dominating football game right there.
Give me a second real quick. I think room service is going to try and come in here.
I heard that. Housekeeping.
Housekeeping.
Come.
Housekeeping. What is he saying, Tommy boy? Would you like me to touch on your penis? What kind of housekeeping is this?
Oh, yeah.
Don't want housekeeping for the love of God.
Did you get your eyes on that Thursday night college game at all? App State, South Alabama?
Tanner, I'm not going to lie to you. Absolutely not.
I mean,
that was not on the radar.
It's back-to-back Friday, or I guess Thursday night here in this case, that South Alabama just puts a whooping on whoever they're playing. And I'm beginning to think that App State is not that great this year.
Well, I'm truly disappointed in South Alabama that they couldn't score 80 points again.
I mean, if you look at this box score, Fluff Bothwell again.
Fluff Bothwell.
Dude, he's having himself the freshman, 14 carries, 116 yards, and 2 tutties. And then you got Gio Lopez, their quarterback, who threw for 2 touchdowns, but he also had 7 rushing carries and 105 yards and a touchdown. So he's doing it with his legs and his arms. Watch out for the South Alabama team.
Fluff Bothwell.
I really think it's just App State's defense is really bad.
Yeah,
really bad. So I had that on a separate screen while I was watching the Thursday night game. But yeah, back to the Jets. The Jets I think, are a week-to-week team is what I'm telling myself right now.
Yeah.
I think if Robert Saleh doesn't get out-coached every week, they have a chance because Aaron Rodgers is usually going to make a smart decision out there. It's like having another coach on the field.
Yeah. I'm just like looking at their schedule also. Like they don't have a very tough schedule. And this is something that my co-host on the Sunday show on 1080 was saying a couple weeks ago. He's like, the Jets, they could start off the season like 4-1, basically. God, I just had their fucking schedule put up. Yeah, they got Denver next week, and then they got the Vikings. So, like, that's two very winnable games right there.
I don't know the Vikings right now. Who we'll see this week. They might be 3-0. Who knows?
Blow the horn.
Yeah, right.
Boom.
Get them going.
That's a London game, the Jets Vikings. But then they'll get the Bills, which is a tough game. They'll get the Steelers and the Patriots. So, like, you know, just over the next, like, 2 months, essentially, month and a half, like, you're really not playing. Like, the only team that's really – like, I don't buy the Vikings, all right? Like, 2 games, all right, it was a good – you know, it's a good start, but show it to me a little bit over, you know, a longer time frame, and then I'll maybe buy into it a little bit more.
I don't know if I'm, like, buying the offense, but the defense – back-to-back solid games that it's making me think.
You know what this reminds me of? I think it was 2 seasons ago when the Panthers had Sam Darnold, and they started like 3-1, and everyone was like, this Panthers team, I think they're for real. And then immediately fell out.
Yeah, we saw what happened.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Was that the season that they ended up trading for the number 1 overall pick so that way they could get Bryce Young because they realized we don't have a quarterback?
Yep.
Yeah, so we've seen hot starts from teams with Sam Darnold as their starting quarterback come crashing to earth very soon after. So we'll see. On jury's still out for me on the Vikings. I will not blow the horn just yet.
That's fair. I mean,
I will keep my Viking horn at my side and maybe blow it later, but as of right now, absolutely not.
I kind of want a 5-game sample size with them right now. So,
yeah. Well, and they, you know, people say that you got to split the NFL season up into like fourths. You know, like take out the games and kind of have it in like 4 separate seasons, essentially on one season, and you know, because the ebbs and flows, you know, week to week, it's hard to judge a team based off of, you know, 1 game or 2, but if you kind of break it up into those quadrants, you know, of a season, you can see trends, see how teams are doing and stuff. So, but there's a Friday night college football action.
Oh, we got a ranked matchup tonight.
Oh, we do. We definitely
Illinois and Nebraska.
The fighting Brent Bielema's.
They're always solid the line of scrimmage, that's for sure. You always know it will be. And then we got a little late night Pac-2 with Washington State, San Jose State.
Yeah, that's
Montalolo's San Jose Spartans. Watch out.
Who's the head coach at San Jose State?
Ken Niumatalolo.
Oh, dude. That's I feel like what's that meme from Star Wars now? That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah. Not really running the triple option though, kind of running a weird version of it. So but he's played a few teams already. He's starting out 3-0 and he's played a few teams already that run the triple option. And he's been able to stop them because he knows it so well. So
he was I remember when he was being rumored to be the next Oregon State head coach for a little bit.
Yep. Him and Kalani Sitake.
Yeah. Right.
I remember that before they went to Jonathan Smith.
Yeah.
And then we also have Stanford and Syracuse tonight, which should be pretty good. I think could be a high-scoring game.
A vaunted ACC conference matchup.
Yes. They've been waiting for this.
So weird.
I think Stanford's going to the Carrier Dome or whatever it's called now.
It's the JMA wireless dome, sir. Okay.
It's always going to be the Carrier dome to me.
Yeah, me too. I don't even know what the hell JMA wireless is.
Yeah, we didn't need to change that. Come on.
That sounds like a Boost Mobile or something like that.
Yeah. See if Kyle McCord can keep up his strong streak so far.
Good for that young man. Yeah, he's looked pretty decent to start the season.
Yeah. But Quentin Allen is like one of the best running backs in the ACC for sure. He's up there, top 3. He's impressive.
God, seeing these matchups tonight, like Stanford, Syracuse, like again, that being a ACC matchup, weird as hell.
Yeah.
And then seeing the San Jose, Washington State, like I think that Washington State, because of, geographic, a lot of people in this area are either a Coug grad, Washington State fan, the history of them in the Pac-12 and, Oregon State. So it's kind of hard. Like all these teams that are not in the same conference as the Ducks anymore, it's like you still like care about what happens with them, but it doesn't really like matter because you're not going to see them on the schedule. So it's bizarre, like seeing again their matchups, who they're playing, and being like, oh, okay, Washington State plays tonight, and it's like, well, okay, like yeah, and then also seeing that it's on the C-Dub.
Yeah, the C-Dub network. That's hilarious.
C-Dub's taking over.
Yeah, Friday night C-Dub.
I would anticipate that this would get a matchup of San Jose and Washington State would get better ratings than any of their live golf broadcasts.
Yeah.
Dude, very weird tangent. Did you by chance see like the image from the tournament, the last live tournament where like John Rahm won the fucking live season championship or something like that?
No.
There's a picture going around of like the gallery and like the crowd around the last hole. It is so embarrassing. It's like you couldn't like. I cannot believe that this is like they gotta kill this here soon. Just because like the crowd,
like 3 people around.
Dude, it looked like it was like a high school tournament, like with the amount of people that were there. I don't know. I'll have to double check and see if this was like a legit photo because the internet never lies.
Photoshop right? Or whatever, yeah.
But yeah, I was just like, dear Christ, man. Anyways, that's on the C-Dub, and then the ranked matchup, Illinois versus Nebraska. Do you think they just made Illinois a top 25 team so that way they could make this a top 25 matchup?
I mean, kind of, but they do have like a decent win with Kansas. So like, I mean, they've had a harder road than some people have so far. Central Michigan's not the worst team, but they blew them out.
Who did Kansas just lose to?
UNLV. So it's not. It doesn't look like it's great to win now. Now that they lost to UNLV.
Hey, UNLV is a tough squad too, all right?
Hey, I mean, I think they're undefeated too. So
they are, yeah. Dude, I like Nebraska this year. I mean, that game against Colorado was fucking awesome for them. Seeing them do that, like seeing Memorial Stadium actually have a game to care about and to get like that excited for. Like I know they basically sell out and fill up that stadium every game anyways, but there's something about a good Nebraska team like living up to, the hype of the preseason. The one thing I don't like about them, I like his on-field play, but Dylan Raiola literally just copying everything that Patrick Mahomes does.
It's so annoying.
I saw someone say that he's like the Jason Tatum of college football.
Yeah, that's true.
Dude, he is it's just it's pretty cringe for me. Like it's like how he looks, wearing the same number is one thing, like who, people wear the same number of their favorite athletes all the time, but dude is like a straight up doppelganger of Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
Like his even pregame routine of it running down to the end of the field.
That's when I was like, come on, we got to change something up here.
Like, well, if he does all this and he's the best quarterback in the NFL, maybe if I just do it, I'll be the best quarterback in college.
Yeah, it's too much for me.
Dude, yeah.
And I mean, I still don't know how good Nebraska actually is. Like, they play UTEP, who's terrible. They play Northern Iowa, who's not very good. And Colorado is not very good either. And they couldn't even score in the second half. They put up most of those points, the 28 points they scored in the first half. So they couldn't, like, once Colorado made a few adjustments and Nebraska kind of took their, like, foot off the pedal, they didn't do a whole lot. And I wasn't not really impressed. So until he, like, plays an actual defense and someone who can play like the full game, I still don't know what to think. I do like their defense a lot, though. I think Tony White does a great job year to year with his defense, and I think that's what kept him in the games a lot last year, and will keep him in games this year because their defense is pretty legit. They got some good corners, good D line. They fly around, so good scheme. So until I don't think that Illinois will be able to do a whole lot tonight, but I think Illinois' game plan will probably be try to run the ball, control the clock, make sure
Keep them off the field.
Exactly, make sure they're not making too many mistakes, turning the ball over. Like that's obviously going to kill them. But what's his name? Altmaier's done a lot better than what I thought he would this year. He's actually protected the football, which is not something he did last year. So if he can continue what he's doing, he only has a few touchdown passes on the year, but he's not turning the ball over. Yeah.
Luke Altmaier, where was he beforehand?
Ole Miss.
Ah.
Yeah.
Then Lane was just like, dude, you suck. You need to get out of here.
Yeah, but I mean, they also have Zachary Franklin, who's really good. The old UTSA, Will Stein was his coach before, and then he transferred to Ole Miss. I think he had some problems at Ole Miss or just didn't really get on field, and then transferred to Illinois, and he's been really good for them.
The game, Nebraska's favored 8.5. The over under is 42.5. Does that? I was gonna say, does that seem low? Or
yeah, but I mean that kind of goes along the lines of these two defenses.
Yeah,
I think, and then a lot of running the ball. Nebraska is probably going to run the ball. They have some good backs. They have Dante Dowdell, the old Oregon running back too.
Right.
So, I don't think he starts, but
remember when was it that game? Watching the Colorado game the other night and seeing him on the field, and I was like, oh yeah, let's go.
Dude's massive. Dude's massive.
Good for him. He gets to whoop up on Colorado 2 years in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very cool for him. But I think he brings something else, a little power to that backfield, which is nice for them.
Yeah. So it opened at 8.5, and now it's gotten bet down to 7.5.
It's kind of been all over. I saw it as high as like 9.5, almost to 10, and then all the way back down. So a lot of action on this game tonight. I don't know that I'll partake in any way. I think
I was going to ask, are you partaking in anything in any of the college football games tonight?
Yeah, I did one thing, and it's just a player prop on Kyle McCord over 274 yards passing.
You and your player props. You absolute dog.
It's the way to go. I lost my over last night in the Jets game, but I also played the Jets -6. So like kind of canceled each other out, and then played Mike Williams over 24.5 receiving yards. And that's a little sweaty, but it came through.
What was it?
It was Mike Williams over 24.5 receiving yards.
24.5?
Yeah.
That's so crazy. Like that literally can happen in like a play.
Well, his line was only 2 receptions. So like, but Mike Williams, if you look at Mike Williams, he's just a big play guy. Like,
yeah,
usually if he gets 2 receptions, it's going to be over 20 yards, So,
well, I don't know, man. With that cover 2, that we need to ban the cover 2, and so that we can have more big plays.
I saw Rogers talking about that.
Dude, yeah. Well, did you see the full Mel Kiper rant?
No. I didn't see the Mel Kiper rant, but I saw him talking about it.
Yeah, so like because I had been hearing this last couple of days, so I had to finally like pull it up and see what the big fucking deal was. And yeah, Mel Kiper. I'm gonna see if I can try and like pull this up. and play it for you while we're on here, because Mel Kiper was very much like, get off my lawn on what he was saying, like very old man take. Let me see if I can try and see if you can hear it too. Do you see that?
Yeah.
All right, let's give this a shot. Let me know if you can't hear it.
Okay.
Pick it up from there. Now that we've
I can hear.
For exactly what your problem is with it, how would you try and solve it?
Well, I grew up with the best of the National Football League, 60s, 70s, into the 80s. You're talking about deep shots, right? The go route, the 9-route post. You're talking about Terry Bradshaw in a Super Bowl hitting John Stallworth. You see Leroy Irvin diving, right, just off the.
When he will go back to the studio, look at all the guys in the studios. Like, they are like they're trying so hard not to just be like, Mel, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
his finger, there's the receiver.
What year are we in?
Out there, right? Hit the receiver in stride, 65-yard touchdown. It's a beautiful thing to watch. That's what I want to see brought back to the National Football League. Okay, check down kings, bubble screen sensations, boring football. Game manager, I get it, but I want to see those deep shots. That's what the NFL is built on. I grew up with John Unitas, Fran Tarkington, Ken Stabler, Darryl LaMonica. You talk about quarterbacks, Joe Namath. It was just right. Brett Favre when he was doing what he did. Burt Jones with the Baltimore Colts. Think about those quarterbacks.
Bart Starr.
I think what Bradshaw did with Stallworth and Swan.
when they were passing 5 times a game.
To see brought back. Say, well, you can't do that, right? We got a 5-yard rule with the cornerbacks, right? The Mel Blount rule, right? Now with the push thing with Hurts, you got to be a yard back now. So don't tell me you can't have those safeties closer to the line of scrimmage than they are. I was at games where I'm thinking, hey, too high? They're out in outer space. I couldn't even find us. So they're playing with 9 guys, right? Where are the other 2? Oh, the other 2, they're so daggone far back, and even though they're part of the damn play. I'm telling you, we got to change this thing, and we got to have, hey, you can warn them. And I'm afraid they come up, hey, guys, you got to get up a little bit, right? You're
Get with the times, Mel Kiper.
But you got to figure out, competition committee, somebody's got to figure out what that depth is, but it's too far back right now. The NFL is being ruined by these too high safeties.
Yeah.
Ruined by the too high safeties.
What happened to the game I love?
The safeties were right at the line of scrimmage.
Dude, just listen off all the old quarterbacks and I remember NFL used to have these guys, as if just all the quarterbacks nowadays are just fucking bums.
Yeah. Just everyone sucks because they
used to have these deep shots. It's still happens, Mel. For God's sakes, man. And we're fine.
Also, everything's advanced since then. They found different ways to do things, and you just can't do the same stuff you used to be able to do. It's ridiculous.
That fucking killed me. Yeah.
Was there any games that you were pumped about watching this week as far as college?
For college football, yeah, I actually had to kind of run through the matchups and see what was happening. I think earlier in the week, we were talking a little bit about this not being crazy from a top 25 week.
Yeah.
That USC Michigan game will be interesting, obviously, that being out in Ann Arbor, that being the first Big 12 matchup for USC.
That's and also a weird betting line too, by the way.
USC being favored, or what, the over under, or
no, just the spread of that game has changed so much. It keeps going up and then down, and then some people are buying back Michigan, which is interesting.
I don't know. There's part of me that thinks that's going to be a close game. Alex Orji, it's going to be his first start. So very intrigued to see what happens there. He should have been starting from the very beginning, honestly.
I kind of feel like if you're going to play Michigan, you play the first half of Michigan because, it's going to be tough to see what the Alex Orji offense looks like. And you can make some adjustments in the second half to that. But in the first half, you might catch some things off guard. It might be a little tougher to stop than what you think. But as a passing threat, he does not worry me one bit.
Oh, yeah. No, it's just the athleticism and, what you can do. If they do run a lot of options with him, RPOs, zone read stuff with him.
Colston Loveland, I think, is the his tight end that he just throws to, or this year, I guess him and Warren have been thrown to him a ton because they have no other options to throw to.
Security blanket, man. Find your tight end. Get your security blanket.
They have no one else to throw to. So
I'm looking at, because I was wondering, I was like, who the LSU, like they played South Carolina last week in that close game, but then I was like, God, who were they like struggling with a couple weeks ago? Fucking Nichols State.
Yeah, they're messing around in that one.
Yeah, exactly. And then they had the close game against USC at to start the game. So like USC being that close against LSU, like LSU's ranked 16th in the country, but I don't know.
Got so lucky against South Carolina too.
Yeah, and the way that these 3 games have gone for them, again, losing to USC, like playing with their food against Nicholls State, almost losing to South Carolina. Like they do not look like the 16th team in the nation. So like as we get further away from that first game, USC versus LSU, it's like, yeah, good win for USC, but how good is LSU actually?
Yeah, I don't think that they're like amazing, but they're playing UCLA in Tiger Stadium this week.
That'll be a confidence boost.
And yeah, I was going to say, I listened to Brian Kelly's presser, and he basically said that
He's banging on tables.
Yeah, they're ready to put together a full 4 quarters of really good football. And if you want to get right, I think this UCLA team's a team that you will definitely want to go against, especially at home. I think UCLA is going to be walking into an ambush there.
Is this
the play LSU's team total?
Is this the first matchup of UCLA LSU since for God's sakes, Ed Orgeron?
Yeah.
When he was like, what was the line he had for that UCLA student?
I don't know. I heard it this week though. I heard someone bring it up.
In your was it like pansy ass baby blue shirt or something?
Yeah, baby blues. Yeah, the baby blues. And then they lost.
Yeah, bring your ass on in your sissy blue shirt.
Yeah, and I think UCLA is not going to be ready for them. Honestly, they have a hard schedule right here. They go to LSU, and then they come back home and they play Oregon. So it's
and then after that, they have to go to Penn State. It's crazy.
It's just brutal for them. One of the hardest schedules.
They might, I don't know, man. Like they might win 2 games this year. Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm looking at their entire schedule at, like we said, at LSU versus Oregon, at Penn State. I mean,
Loss.
Versus Minnesota after that.
Not guaranteed at all.
Yeah. At Rutgers, which I would take Rutgers this year.
Yeah, 100%.
At Nebraska.
Loss.
Versus Iowa. Home game against Iowa. At Washington versus USC, and then versus Fresno State.
Dude, they might even lose Fresno.
That's what I'm saying. Like they maybe at the most will win 2 games this year, but they very well could go. What is that? Like 1-11?
Yeah, like this could be really, really bad.
Dude, I'm telling you, that's why in the preseason preview, I gotta find that preseason preview where they had I think it was Michigan State finishing dead last in the conference. And I saw, and I think like LSU, they put, or LSU, UCLA, they put like second or third to last or something like that. Like I felt like there was a little bit of a, and I think it was like the Big Ten Media Day, like their projection. Yeah. So they had the Big Ten Media, they had Purdue finishing last.
Which is fair.
Yeah, Northwestern, Indiana, Illinois, and UCLA. So UCLA was like 14th on this list. Yeah.
Yeah, UCLA should be bottom.
Yeah. I mean, Purdue is not good. I mean, they could finish last, but also like I would probably take over UCLA right now.
100%. Hey, if we're talking Purdue, talking to one of my favorite bets this week, and that's going to Purdue going to Oregon State, catching 5, which I bet 5.5 earlier, but Purdue's getting less bets and handle, and that line's going down. And I really think Hudson Card is a decent quarterback. I think Ryan Walters is going to put together a really good defensive scheme to beat up Oregon State, and I think they're pissed off from getting blown out last week. So Oregon State is not the same kind of Oregon State we've seen the last few years. So I think this is a really good spot, even though they have to go on the road to Oregon State. I don't think it's anything they need to be like too worried about. So them catching points, not even having to win the game, I feel really good about, and it's one of my favorite plays this week.
Yeah, I was thinking last night or the night before, I was like, dude, if Oregon State loses Purdue at home, like,
which is very possible.
Yeah, definitely. And I was just thinking though, I'm like, God, that's definitely a wind out of the sails moment for Oregon State. We're like feeling optimistic after the first 2 games for the most part, and then getting blown out by Oregon and then fucking losing at home to Purdue. Like, yeah, that would be like such a momentum killer for their season. I don't know who they have after that, if they have a bye before starting conference play. Yeah, it looks like it. So they'll have Purdue, and then they'll get a week off, and then they'll take on future Pac-12 member Colorado State. But
the Rams.
Yeah, they can't. They very well could, but they can't that game against Purdue.
Yeah, I mean, that would just, like you said, like sink their sails with the fact that they wanted to be probably in the Big Ten, but
yeah,
they're playing one of the, I guess, lower level teams in the Big Ten, and if they can't even compete or beat them, then it's kind of like, how far have they fallen since Jonathan Smith left? So.
But yeah, as far as like matchups, I mean, I don't know if there's any outside of like the top 25 that are really like catching my eye a whole lot. I don't know about you from like a betting angle, like what games you're looking at, but I mean, there's some 25 matchups: Utah, Oklahoma State. But
I'm really excited about that one.
Is Cam Rising playing in that?
He's supposed to, yeah. He's not going to be 100%. He's going to play with a glove on his hand.
Yeah.
But that's also been a really interesting one because or Oklahoma State went from a dog to favorite, and last week they looked really good. Alan Bowman was almost perfect from a completion standpoint, and he didn't get sacked once. Their offensive line kept a really clean pocket. They played great. Ollie Gordon hasn't been great this year so far.
Yeah, no.
I haven't really seen a whole lot from him. I know teams probably focus on him more.
Yeah, before the season, he was. I was labeling him future Dallas Cowboys starting running back, but now I might have to take that title away from him.
Yeah, I mean, he probably will translate to the NFL pretty well, but right now he's just not looking too great, which is interesting. But I'm very excited to watch that game. I think it's going to be an awesome game. I don't think I'm going to have any like betting angles in that one. I just think it'll be a lot of fun to watch. I'm excited, like from a non-top 25 right now, the 3-0 Cal Bears traveling to the 0-3 Florida State Seminoles. And
I didn't see that on the schedule. That is holy shit.
So this, I'm
let's
Florida State. Right?
If they win that, if Cal wins that and starts 4-0, and Florida State starts 0-4, holy shit!
Did you see that Cal through 3 games has 9 interceptions, leading the country in interceptions?
That's just a Wilcox defense right there.
That's just Cal football, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that defense is really good. Their offense is not great right now. I think Jaden Ott's still a little hurt. He's playing, but haven't been running through him as much. And was it Fernando Mendoza? He doesn't really impress me at all. I don't think he's like a difference maker, But I think that this is finally when Florida State gets right and maybe sneaks a win.
I hope not. I really hope not.
It's on Parents Weekend in Florida State too, so the place is going to be rocking.
Is this something like you keep an eye on, like random shit like that for betting angles? Like,
yeah,
Dad's weekend in Florida State. So
there's different incentives, like little angles here and there you can pick up on. Yeah. I
would love to see like like the professional gamblers, the guys who have their websites and everything. Like, I like this team this weekend. They've got Dad's weekend coming up.
Dude, you see a lot of people. I mean, you try to find any little advantage you can, and you got to try to put that into your.
It's homecoming.
Yeah, homecoming. But Miami, South Florida is another one. I'm pumped. I'm so excited for this one. I'll be watching this one. I think I saw USF went back up to plus 17, and that's something that I've been kind of flirting around with maybe playing. I think that USF's like veer and shoot they run with Byron Brown is interesting. I don't think Miami's defensive coordinator has really gone against this in his career. So I think it's going to be, at least for the first half, I think it could be tight. I think it'll be a better game than what people think. I'm not saying they're going to win the game outright. I'm just saying that it's a battle of South Florida right here, okay? And
at Raymond James Stadium too.
Yep. And you wouldn't think so, but Miami's still a 4-hour drive to Raymond James from there. So
I don't know where anything's at in Florida as far like Miami is, near the southern tip there, and then Tampa's kind of like central on the east side.
It's still technically South Florida.
Yeah, on the west side of Florida, like in the Gulf of Mexico part of it. So, dude, it's USF. I mean, they had that game against Alabama a couple of weeks ago where they kept it close against them.
I think it's going to be really similar, and I think there's just more incentive being a Florida-based team, and they have a lot of the same. I'm sure a lot of these players have gone against the other players from Miami.
This
high school.
You all right? Yeah. They didn't want you guys, all right?
Exactly.
That's a pregame locker room speech.
Yeah.
Show them who the real Florida school is.
I think Golish will have a little something for Mario Cristobal. I think Golish might even be the better coach overall.
Can you imagine? Like, I always love doing the whole, run through scenarios in your head, like, and what would happen, like, if South Florida actually beats Miami. Like the outcry and the anger and all the shit Miami and Mario Cristobal would be getting, like, especially after the first couple of weeks, how they've looked. Like, if they go and South Florida beats them, just like, holy shit.
That would be if it's on like another Mario Cristobal bad call or terrible time management. Like, that's all he needs, really. And then, God, there's a couple more that I was looking at. There's actually quite a few games I like. Auburn, Arkansas. Auburn is switching quarterbacks, going to Hank Brown this week.
I was gonna say Auburn does like nothing for me right now.
Peyton Thorne was terrible. They switched to Hank Brown in the second half, and he put up some really good numbers for Auburn. And I think it could be a shootout between Auburn and Arkansas this week. And then
the total Oklahoma is at 56.5 for that game.
Yeah, it seems a little low to me, but
low?
Yeah. I think both these offenses can score.
Yeah.
And Tennessee, Oklahoma is a ranked matchup
I was talking to there's a guy that is I forget where he's, what city he's from, but he's an Oklahoma Sooner fan. And I was just telling him, I was like, dude, I like Brent Venables. Like, I definitely want this version of Oklahoma to like be better, because I do like Brent Venables. And I also just like the idea of them getting back to being somewhat of a powerhouse or blue blood after Lincoln Riley left them high and dry. Like,
yeah, college football is better when they're good.
Yeah,
So.
man. I just like Brent Venables. I like that he's got like kind of a red ass and has a little bit of that like old school football guy mentality. And so, I mean, it's going to be fucking tough because Tennessee has just looked, obviously they've played no one, but you know, when you light up teams, when you're playing those shitty teams, like it's so funny. It's, you know, when you have a performance like Oregon versus Idaho, like it raises a ton of questions. And then when you go and, or if you blow them out, then it's like, all right, well, that's what you were supposed to do anyways. But there is something to be said, like about we scheduled that team or that kind of game and we scored 70 fucking points. We beat them 56-0 or whatever it is. Like,
yeah,
what was that? Yeah, 71-0 against Kent State. I mean, even them beating NC State 51-10. Like,
they're doing what they had. Like, they're dominating everyone they're playing right now.
What is it? 69 points against Chattanooga. Nice.
Yeah.
51 versus NC State, 71 versus Kent State. Like,
I think this is going to be their best test, though, obviously.
They're number one in the country in points for, averaging 63.7.
Yeah, their offense has been humming, but their defense, I think both defenses will be the best, like, units on the field. Like, Oklahoma's defense is going to be better than Tennessee's offense, but Tennessee's defense is better than Oklahoma's offense. So,
okay, I know it's like small, you know, only 3 games, small sample size, but yeah, they're averaging 67 points for, 4.3 points against, which is number 1 and number 3 respectively in the country. Rushing yards, you want to guess what they're averaging per game for rushing yards?
Was it like 200 and some yards?
Higher.
300?
336.3.
That's absurd.
Which is good for a third in the nation.
Only third.
Yeah, bums. Well, hey, when you got UCF running for 375, and then, of course, you know, Army, baby, 390 per game.
Well, I mean, when you run the ball every play.
Right. Yeah, Army's like, no, we will lead the country in rushing. All right, we'll make damn sure about that.
Yeah.
I would say outside of like top 25, one of the games that is kind of intriguing to me. Oh, for God's sakes, I just had it up. I saw it earlier in the week, and I was like, I think it's like a later game with BYU.
Oh, Kansas State?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't been able to catch BYU too much, so you could, you know, maybe give me some insight there. But Kansas State, obviously, they looked good against Arizona last week. But yeah, I saw that. I was like, I'm curious if Tanner like has caught BYU and if that has a chance for them to, you know, like at least cover in that one.
I think they do, honestly. I think that BYU is going to be able to stop the run, what Arizona just couldn't do. And I think Kalani Sitake is just going to say, hey, we're going to put everyone up here, just see if Johnson can beat us with his arm. Yeah. Like, if he can, then that – I mean, I don't see Kansas State not covering this, but I think he's Avery Johnson is just a running quarterback. And until I see anything like him throwing down the field, they also don't have great weapons. Their running back is like their number 1 wide receiver. And so I think BYU has a defense because they got like fucking 28-year-old men out there that will be able to stuff the run. And so I think it's going to be a little bit lower scoring is what I was, since the total's at 48.5. Yeah. So it's a decently low total. I would say BYU is very, very live in this game. I wouldn't say this is at least live to cover the spread is what I would say.
Yeah. No, that's, you know, 7:30. That's a 7:30 kickoff, by the way. It's
in Provo?
I would assume so.
Yeah.
I would hope it's in Provo. I mean,
yeah, shit gets weird out there.
Yeah, and if you're kicking off that late, yeah, at BYU, that's also like, yeah, the overall vibes of that setting and game against like a good team like BYU, their home stadium, like that is it's a factor. I think like, you kind of see this with Utah, but when it's like a night game out there in Utah, it just weird things happen. And I think that just BYU, again, I haven't been able to catch them too much. I did look at their schedule and who they played. They got BYU SMU a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Which SMU had some great expectations coming into the season, and they've already sort of floundered. But
yeah, they went away from Preston Stone, which is a good idea, I think. I think Jennings is their other quarterback, and he's played a lot better when he gets in there. So
yeah, that game's going to kick off at 8:30.
Yeah, that's
their time.
It's steep.
Jesus, dude.
So the last game that I think that I would going to be tuning into is that Bowling Green, Texas A&M. See if Bowling Green had the week off. See if my boy Harold Fannin Jr. can have another huge game.
Yeah, that close one against Penn State.
Yeah, and now that Texas A&M has their quarterback, we'll see what Bowling Green does with that. But they've had a week to prepare. So
yeah, no, I would say that. I've all the games that are most intriguing to me. Like, I'm really curious to see how that Tennessee Oklahoma game goes. I would say, like, that's the one this week that, USC Michigan, well, that's a good matchup too. But the way that Tennessee has looked, and then if Oklahoma is just trying to get back to where they've been in years past, and if they beat Tennessee, like that's huge. That's fucking huge for them, just because Tennessee has just looked absolutely insane this year. So
yeah, it would be, because I don't have that high of hopes right now for Oklahoma, and Jackson Darnold hasn't looked that great. So if he can have his coming out party on this kind of a stage, I think it will really change like the national narrative of Oklahoma right now.
Yeah. I want to take a look at the NFL.
Yeah. Let's jump over to NFL, a few games over there.
Yeah, the NFL schedule coming up this week. I mean, I'm a little biased, but definitely nervous and curious what the hell is going to happen in that Baltimore-Dallas game.
Yeah, and that's a weird line too. Like I can't really get a grip on that one. But also, are the Ravens going to start out 0-3? Like
I find that very hard to believe.
Like it's very surprising and weird, and yeah, hard to believe for sure because he's such a good coach, John Harbaugh. So
this could potentially be like the worst three game stretch at AT&T Stadium for the Cowboys in a very long time. Like getting blown out in the playoff game last year, getting blown out in your home opener last week, and then you're taking on Baltimore at home, and then if you lose that one as well, or if they just manhandle you and like clearly win and I don't know about like dominate like the Saints did last week, but again, just keep you at arm's length and just show you that like, yes, there is a clear difference between these two teams' talent goes.
Yeah.
Talent-wise, like, boof, what a rough fucking start for Dallas to start the year.
Yeah, I mean, but that, like we were talking, you don't know what you're going to get week to week from Dallas. Like, are we getting the like shutdown defense, like Micah Parsons in the backfield all day, or are we getting
consistently inconsistent?
Yeah, that is what I'm feeling right now so far from them. But like, it's so early. We just got to keep trying to learn things each week about these teams, and right now we can make the conclusion that Dallas is kind of inconsistent at the moment. Sometimes they're really good, sometimes they're really bad. So which one are we going to get week to week with them? And it's going to be interesting to see, because the Ravens have just looked bad. Honestly, they can't block anyone. So how are they going to block Micah Parsons? Yeah. How are they going to block Dexter Lawrence? Like, how are they going to? That's one thing where I'm like, God, I just
DeMarcus Lawrence.
Sorry,
don't you put that bum in New York on my team?
Was he a Dallas guy before?
Dexter Lawrence?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't remember him ever being I think he's always
Too many
been.
D Lawrences for me to keep up with, you know?
I know, right?
Come on.
No, my boss, he's a Giants fan. Whenever he brings up, Dexter Lawrence, I'm like, wait, oh no, not my Lawrence.
Right?
I jumped to his Wikipedia page real quick. You want to know his nickname? Dexter Lawrence?
Hit me with it.
Sexy Dexy.
No way. Did he come up with that, or did someone else come up with that?
I hope so. Yeah. They linked. Apparently, he did on Sunday Night Football last year. Called himself Sexy Dexy. That's fantastic.
What other game are you looking at here? Are you looking?
Yeah, I have the full schedule up. I mean, Philly at New Orleans will be interesting there. Just to see, if New Orleans and Clint Kubiak can keep up their hot start.
Yeah.
And then if Philly's going to be able to respond after losing that game in the final seconds to Atlanta. I fucking hate the Eagles, but I do see them winning the division. I picked them to win the division on my Sunday show. So it's just a matter of very much like the Cowboys, somewhat frauds, and you don't know what you're going to get week to week from them. So
yeah, this could be a really good bounce back situation for them. I don't know, but can they put up enough points because from what I've seen from the Eagles secondary, it hasn't been great. So
yeah,
Derek Carr's ripping everyone apart at the moment.
Yeah. So that one is going to be intriguing to me in the 10 a.m. slot. As far as 10 a.m. games go,
the Chargers Steelers 2-0, 2-0.
That's right. Yeah.
I have a feeling that the Steelers are going to win this one.
Dude, they can't. I swear to God. Mike Tomlin can't keep getting away with this.
Dude, right? They do. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to say they're going to win with great quarterback play, but I'm thinking their defense is so good. TJ Watt is going to make it hell for Joe Alt, I think. And I don't know if our offense is going to be competent enough just to continue running the ball and praying that Quentin Johnson can catch balls each week. I mean, our tight end game is terrible. Will Dissly and Hayden Hurst blocking boys. So I don't know. I'm not confident going into Pittsburgh, but I guess Jim Harbaugh's shown me that we could do things I didn't think we could do so far. So
yeah, I wanted to have us choose the 3 games this week that you are most intrigued with in the NFL.
Yeah.
But it's funny, once you actually get the schedule pulled up, there's just so many storylines and things that you're curious about and what you want to see. I can make a case for just about every single game.
Yeah.
And why it'd be interesting. There's some matchups where it's just oh God, those 2 teams suck. I have no I guess whoever wins
Panthers,
that.
Raiders.
Yeah, I mean New York, the Giants versus the Browns.
Yeah.
Are the Browns playing better? Are they going to start looking like a competent team and having a somewhat good offense with Deshaun Watson? I mean, if he doesn't end up going to jail by the end of the season.
Can Amari Cooper figure it out? The guy's been a bum
so
far. So.
But as far as the 3 games that are most intriguing to me, I'd say Houston at Minnesota.
Yep, that's one I really like too.
Yeah, that one is because Houston only being a 2-point favorite at this point. I think I said earlier in the week, I'm taking Houston to cover 100%. Minnesota to me is, great first week, great week last week beating San Francisco. The first, who'd they play week 1 for God's sakes?
For Minnesota?
Yeah.
San Fran?
No, they just played them. I'm trying to think of who they played in week 1 to start.
Oh, the Giants. The Giants.
That's right. Yeah. Taking that against the Giant, again, the San Francisco one, you got to, take that for face value, but also they had guys falling apart all over the field. San Francisco is going to be an interesting team to keep an eye on throughout the rest of the year if they just, the injuries keep piling up. And if Brock Purdy's going to be able to, have a successful year again. But I would say the Houston-Minnesota game is one on my radar.
CJ Stroud can't keep getting away with not throwing a pick. The guy is throwing the ball into harm's way all over the place, and he's either getting a call back, like a penalty to call back, so like it's not an interception, but the guy is flirting with them. So it's maybe this week.
So I'd go Houston, Minnesota, and then again the Baltimore Dallas game, just intriguing. I'm a little biased on that, but if I had to like stay away from that particular game, Sunday Night Football, Kansas City at Atlanta. Kansas City, obviously one of the best, if not the best team in the NFL, and then Atlanta. See if Kirkers can actually put together a full 4 quarters of good offense.
Yeah.
And if the Falcons are able to play good defense against Kansas City, the ATL, Mercedes-Benz, on a Sunday night, like they'll be amped for that game. And that'd be an absolutely huge win for Atlanta and jumpstarting their season after week 1, not looking very good. And then last week, again, eking out the win at the end against the Eagles. If you're able to go toe-to-toe with Kansas City and come out with a win on primetime, that's a fucking huge win for Atlanta.
That'd be massive. I just have a hard time seeing Andy Reid get any kind of outcoached by Jimmy Lake on the other side.
Hey, y'all don't say that, all right?
Yeah, I mean,
that'd be fun. You just saying that out loud made me totally like reconsider. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a very good point, right?
It's
there.
Just such a big coaching mismatch to me. Like, I don't know. 3 points seems so small to me, though. That's what makes me nervous. Is like, even though they're on the road, shouldn't this be like 5 or like maybe close to 6? I don't know.
Kansas City.
Yeah. But Kansas City likes to fuck around and make it really close all the time. Yeah. So, it kind of depends there.
And then I would say that the third game that I'll have my eye on and that I'm probably like most excited for, just because of how good the team is that's coming into town and then how good they looked last week. But right here in my own backyard of Scottsdale, Detroit at Arizona.
That was the last one I wanted to go over too. Yeah, that game is really intriguing to me.
Yeah, I mean, after how the Cardinals looked last week with their offense and Kyler Murray like just lighting the Rams up, and then going toe-to-toe with the Bills to start the season, like leading a good chunk of that game and then kind of blowing it at the end. Yeah, that one, like my eyes are going to be all over that to see what happens. I'll be watching it basically in the Phoenix airport is probably what I'll be doing. That's like the only sporting event that's happening in Arizona
while you're there
this weekend while I'm there. And yeah, I can't go to it because I'm leaving I think at like 4 or something like that on Sunday. Yeah, the Diamondbacks are not in town. Arizona State, I think, is in Texas Tech.
Yeah.
And then Arizona, I don't know if Arizona just has the week off or if, but they're out of town too. And also it's Tucson, which is like a few hours away. So not going there.
No, thanks.
Yeah. So yeah, like the Cardinals, they're the only team in town right now this weekend. And yeah, I can't catch that game. I told a couple people this weekend, but I don't know if you knew this. NFL game is the only live sporting event I have never been to.
Really? You never been to an NFL game?
Never.
Not even like a Seahawks or anything?
No, nothing. Preseason game, nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
You need to get to one. They're fun.
I know. I'm aware. Yes. People getting stabbed outside the stadium or in the stadium.
Yeah, you got to try to stay away from that.
Fights.
Yeah.
No, my company, part of my problem is why I haven't gone to a game is I've always wanted my first game to be Cowboys game at AT&T Stadium.
Okay.
That's what I want to happen.
That's tough. That's tough to make happen.
Well, and it's like I don't have anybody I know as far as like friends or family in Dallas in the DFW. And so like I literally have no other reason to go out there.
Just go see a game.
Yeah, like there was one part of me wanted to go to Missouri and stay with my grandpa for like a couple days because he lives in like kind of southern Missouri near the Ozarks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. He deals a bunch of meth out there. He's doing great.
Bunch of cartel work.
Yes. Yeah. Basically, he was the inspiration for Ozarks. Yeah. He gave that. he gave his life story. So, no, my grandpa, he's like he's got like such a, like he's never done a single like drug in his entire life. Like he was in Vietnam and he like his mentality is like, if you do drugs, I can't trust you. Like you're not all there. All right. Like you're not locked in. I need you locked in. I'm like, Grandpa, like
military man.
Yeah. It's like, we're not on Hill 45 and Dang Nuke, or City in Vietnam. Like we're literally having barbecue food right now. I think it's in the backyard. I don't know.
We can joke around. It's all right.
Yeah. I think I can be a little high for this one. All right.
Yeah.
You're not locked in right now. All right.
Get it together, Fisher.
But yeah, he watched Ozarks.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. I watched the show and I like had a couple of conversations. And I'm like, that's all happening like right under your nose, right? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, for sure. You have cartels all around you, Grandpa.
Yeah.
That's no, that's not happening. Not here. And I'm like, but I wanted to like go there and stay there a couple of days and then drive from his place to Dallas. And I think it's like a 10 or 11 hour drive or something like that.
I mean, would you ever be open just to going to watch Dallas, like in Seattle or San Fran or LA or somewhere closer?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've looked at, in years past, like when Dallas is coming to Seattle, I had to look up I wanted to see how long the drive is from my grandpa's. I'm not even kidding you. When I pull up the town that he lives in, and he lives like off of a beaten path, like, like not right in town.
Yeah.
But not surprised. Let me try and pull this up. When I pull up the city that he lives in, this is what pops up on Google. It's just the McDonald's. Some McDonald's for me.
The only thing there, just McDonald's.
That is, yeah, exactly.
Like a motel and then McDonald's.
Oh, we got Eldon Golf Club down here. Let's go.
You'd bring your clubs, get a round in, and then head out.
What's the track like in Eldon?
Ooh, that looks nice.
Yeah, real goat track.
Yeah.
Actually, there was someone.
Too many trees for me.
There was someone from Dallas. So yeah, I talked to a couple people that are like here from Dallas, and they, my company, we have the Cowboys as the flagship station in Dallas. So we have all the games on the station down there. I forget what the station is there, but they said, they're like, oh yeah, come on down. We'll get tickets. We'll get you in. We can get you into AT&T Stadium, and you can go catch a Cowboys game. So I have a way to get to a game and get tickets and make it happen. It's just a matter of getting there, scheduling, and making it happen. So
doing everything, yeah,
making all that shit happen. But no, I wanted to go last year to what was it? The Seahawks game that was there. When the Seahawks went to Dallas, and it was like an absolute like just them going back and forth. I think the final score was like, what was it, like 43-35 or something like that?
Just a shootout.
Yes, it was something just wild like that. God, what was the final score? Yeah, 41-35.
That would have been so fun to watch.
Dude, yes. And I'm like at home watching that game. And I'm like, dude, son of a bitch.
Should have went.
This is the game I wanted to go to. Exactly. So
NFL games are really expensive too. So like,
the tickets for this like Cardinals Lions game, I'm curious. I was looking it up like a couple of weeks ago, like if I wanted to go to it, how much it would cost, but I am curious. I mean, I can't imagine that Cardinals games are like too outrageous, but I don't know.
Yeah. No, I would recommend going to one at least.
Jesus, that stadium is so fucking big. They have 400 section tickets going for $47.
I've never seen a game there, even though I go there every year during that time. Sometimes they're out of town, but I definitely would like to.
Yeah, $47 if I want to be in 400 section.
The nosebleeds up there.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, I random tangent here, but I went to a concert at the Moda Center recently.
Yeah, the Journey one.
Journey and Def Leppard.
You were there with my younger sister who just graduated high school.
She went to that concert.
Yep.
Nice, good. I'm glad that the older music it's translating to the youth and the younger generation.
She loves that.
But that I think that was the first time ever Moda Center. I was at the very last row in section 300.
At the top?
Very last row, yes.
Like your head was leaning on the wall?
Oh, yeah, I could stand because they have like the last row and then there's kind of like a strip where people can like stand and walk around and stuff. So I was literally just like standing up like at the very top of the venue.
That's hilarious.
I was like, come on, guys, we couldn't have done any better. These are the tickets that we had available. Like, sheesh.
They're free, right?
Yeah, like we'll usually like depending on the show, maybe be in like the 200 level sometimes, or like the 100 level, just again depending on the event. But that was the first time where I want to say when I went to the Eagles a few years ago, that was in the 300s as well. But yeah, being in the last row at the Moda Center, that was a humbling moment for sure.
Got your binoculars out.
There was someone up there in that section with their own binoculars. I was like,
bet. Yeah.
That's a good move. Good move by you. All right. So I wanted to look at and see which games that you are betting on in the NFL, college, and do these official bread and locks here.
Yeah.
Which quite honestly, after, with my my stomach and my how I was feeling this morning, bread and locks sounds absolutely terrible.
Were you getting after it yesterday?
Yeah, a little bit too much. Yeah,
That'll happen.
Oh, dude, yeah, we went to our dinner was at this like Mexican restaurant last night, and they had like 9 different types of margaritas that you could try.
Wow.
On the menu. So I think I had 3 margaritas. I feel like Dave Chappelle in that stand up. I had 4 beers,
yeah,
2 shots of Jaeger. 4 bong rips, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do not I don't dabble in the tequila too often. Like that's something I do not. That is not my go-to. But when in Rome and you have all those margarita choices, I was like, all right, let's do a regular margarita. Let's do a prickly pear margarita.
Spice it up a little bit. Yeah.
Let's do a watermelon mint margarita.
Well, is your company paying for all this too? Yeah. So then, why not?
Let's go. Yeah, I'm gonna have to empty out the mini fridge before I leave the hotel a little bit. Take all the little shooters with me.
Make sure you got it.
They've got a 12-year what is it, McClellan?
Macallan? Yeah.
Yeah, the Scotch. They got the little shooters of a 12-year. I was like, God, I might have to sneak that in the bag on the way out.
That's good stuff.
That's a good one.
Stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I told you already, like of all these lines, Houston covering against Minnesota, that is the one, like looking at all this, I feel the most optimistic about. Just going up and down the board. I mean, again, I don't know as far as NFL action, what you're seeing out there that you are, what picks you're loving, whether it's, I'm sure you have 20 player props you have placed already for this week.
Yeah, I'm going to be definitely playing some player props, but like Dave Montgomery, I think he's going to get the ball a lot more this week after what we saw from Jared Goff throwing the ball and not having very much success, 3 interceptions. I think they kind of get back to their ground game, and Dave Montgomery over 50.5 rushing yards seems a little low. I think he could easily get that, maybe even pretty early. But as far as game-wise, I think I'm going to have to go to the Seahawks and lay the points. Skylar Thompson starting for his first time for Miami.
In Seattle, like literally going corner to corner of the country.
Geno's low-key been pretty good for the Seahawks, managing the game well. They have so many weapons for him to throw to right now. If they can get Kenneth Walker back, that's great. But Zach Charbonnet has been doing a fine job, like filling in. And I just think they win by a touchdown or more. Their defense is pretty good with the new head coach, McDonald, running it now. And I think that Skylar Thompson's just a really bad quarterback starting it. So, like, he can run the ball, that's fine. But when you got all those studs around you and you can't get him the ball, that's why I'm thinking he's probably going to be safety blanket Jonnu Smith, and then and A-Chain, like a lot of just dumping off to these guys, a lot of screen passes to maybe Tyreek and Waddle. And because I don't think that you can trust him to throw down the field, but I think Seattle will be ready for a lot of that stuff. And I think it's going to be a tough game for the Dolphins. So I think I'm going to lay the points with Seattle this week for one of them.
Yeah, I really like that. Yeah, everything you're buying. I mean, just the fact that this is in Seattle, you got to go that far.
Yeah.
I can imagine that, losing Tua and just the way that you lost against the Bills. I mean, I know you're coming off of also a Thursday night game, so Miami does have a little bit of extra rest on them.
Yeah.
But I can imagine that confidence is low with that team at this moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like, Mike McDaniel is like, yeah, Skyler's our quarterback, we're rolling with him. We're not going to make any moves, but this could be one of those games where they look afterwards. They're like, all right, we got to kind of look around and shop.
Right.
Maybe make a call to Carolina and see what they want from Bryce Young.
And then I will probably play a couple more. I'll play, part of me wants to play Vegas. Just Panthers got to show me that they can come out. And I'm not convinced that Andy Dalton is going to be the biggest upgrade anyway to be able to run that offense.
They do not have like anything skill position wise.
Yeah. They're it's the worst roster in the NFL. So,
and as much as I would love Xavier Legette to be an absolute star and have post-game interviews as much as possible, I just don't think it's happening with that Carolina team.
Yeah, I don't see it. You get like the under in the Broncos Buccaneers. Todd Bowles going to blitz the shit out of Bo Nix all night. He hasn't done well under pressure. I don't see that changing. The Bucs defense has been pretty good this year. Held the Commanders to pretty much 17 points or something, and then did really well against the Lions last week. So that defense is definitely, and then Broncos defense. It's always good. It keeps them in games. I think Baker will be under pressure a little bit. Surtain on the outside, I think he'll do a good job on Mike Evans and probably Chris Godwin at times. But another game where you just don't see that huge, like you could see like a 24-6, like something like that. So maybe even looking at the Bucs, but that seems a little bit too easy to me. And I would say
if I could throw one out, I'm looking at the Cincinnati-Washington over-under 47.5. I would go under on that. Like, Washington's defense sucks, and Cincinnati's favored by 7.5, but I don't imagine this being a back-and-forth game. And if anything, like Cincinnati, their offense, yes, they have Joe Burrow, but it's been nothing to really leave you inspired to start either. So do I see them putting up, even if they put up 35 points and shut down Washington and keep them to 10, you're still hitting that under. And maybe this is the week that Cincinnati pops off and they go for 42 or something like that, because Washington's defense is that bad. Monday night game in Cincinnati. So maybe they are just going to be motivated to show out and prove to everybody that they are as good as the people feel they should be. But I think that their defense is going to be flying around. They're going to shut down Washington, hold them to less than 2 touchdowns, if that. But again, even if you're at, 30 to, 30 is a weird score, but 31-17, do you see that happening and hitting the over? I don't see Washington scoring that many points. I just don't.
Well, Washington's defense has been really bad so far, but like you were saying, Cincinnati's offense has not been impressive. For whatever reason, they can't get much going. I don't know if it's because they can't get much going on the ground.
I was going to say, losing Joe Mixon.
Yeah, not much going on the ground, and then they're locking up Jamar Chase. T. Higgins is still injured, or
I don't know. if what the case is with.
Because they're going to that Iasova or whatever his name is. A lot
He
more.
was a limited participant yesterday.
Yeah.
Practice, Higgins.
So until they get some, I mean, their second best wide receiver is Mike Gesicki right now. So,
and he was a limited participant in yesterday's practice as well.
Yeah, I mean, they'll all end up playing, but minus, I don't know about T. Higgins. Gesicki will end up playing, but yeah, I mean, I probably don't see a ton of points in that either.
Yeah,
so.
I would say that those are two of my locks. Is going Houston to cover and then the under in that Washington-Cincinnati game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm still on the fence about this since we last talked about the Packers-Tennessee game.
Yeah. That's going to be a mess of a game.
I just can't. Malik Willis isn't good. And their gimmicky offense that they ran last week, running the ball 30 times with Josh Jacobs is just not going to work.
Well, when you have vomit all over the football, you can't throw, as we've come to find out. So
there's a reason there's the center vomiting all over the football.
Yeah, and then not literally vomiting, but throwing up in football terms, whatever Will Levis is choosing to do on Sunday as well. See how he'll one-up himself from the past 2 weeks of making terrible decisions with it. Very curious to see what he does this week that absolutely breaks this team.
Yeah, I mean, if Callahan has to bitch him out again on the sideline, it's not going to be good.
I hope, what, for the sake of just entertainment, I hope he does something stupid so that way we see that. It's Mason Rudolph time, baby.
Do you see him coming out in his, I think I saw a clip on Twitter or whatever, him saying he had to change his phone number because he was getting all those hate texts and everything. Yeah. He was like, I got so many hate texts and threats and stuff around that I had to change my number. And he's like, it's sad that it's coming to this, that people are doing this.
Who knew that there was that many passionate Titans fans out there?
I know. I'm like, death threats? Jeez. Yeah. I mean, the guy's not playing quarterback very well, but he doesn't.
Yeah, actually, those threats are about his mayo and the coffee. That wasn't even about. It wasn't even football related.
That's fair.
It was
That's
just
a fair one then.
Yeah, people, you sick son of a bitch. I hope you
How
don't.
dare you? Yeah.
Fucking mayo in your coffee, you disgusting bastard.
Right. And then my last lock, I already said it on our early show, was Jacksonville plus 5.5. It's down to 5 now.
Yeah.
And I'm still standing on that this game. I might even sprinkle a little bit on the money line because I think this is a classic game where the Bills drop and the Jags show up somehow. It's not going to be pretty, but I think that I know they're not going to have Evan Ingram. He still hasn't practiced this week, so they're going to have that. Was it Evan Strange in there or something at tight end? He still did all right last week, but watch out for Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas action. But I'm going to go with the Jags. I think that's it for NFL other than random little player props I'll have.
Buffalo getting a nice little break going from a Thursday night to a Monday night.
Could be detrimental.
Yeah, rusty.
The rusty Bills.
Nice.
In college, I have just 3, like the Kent State one I talked about on our Tuesday show. The over in that game, which I still really like. I'm going to play the over in Arkansas State, Iowa State.
52.5.
Yeah, well, I played it at 51.5, and
so you just pay to get it down a bit?
No, I played it before it went up.
So it went up. Gotcha.
Yeah, but this morning I looked and it went down to 50.5. So then there had to be a group that came back and slammed that 50.5.
Yeah,
and brought that all the way up to 52.5. But I think this is sneaky. A game where Matt Campbell gets Rocco Beck in this offense, and I think Iowa State puts up a serious number on this Arkansas State defense because they're not very good. But Arkansas State can actually score too. Their offense, this is easily Butch Jones' best offense that he had since he's been there. Actually,
Jones
probably his best team, honestly, that he's had since he's been there. And I see this total just being a little bit too low, but I think Iowa State does majority of the work. I could see them scoring like 40 points this game. I'm not lying. So I like that. I'm going to play LSU's team total over 39.5. I don't believe in this USC or UCLA's defense. Brian Kelly's already said that they're going to push the score. Like they want this to be ugly at Tiger Stadium. And I think that they can definitely do that because Eric Bieniemy hasn't shown me anything on their offensive side. And Deshaun Foster and Brian Kelly's a pretty big mismatch coach-wise.
Dude, I totally forgot Eric Bieniemy's the OC.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen anything from him. I don't think he can call much with what they got. So
well, LSU might be able to do that by not even trying because that's how bad UCLA is. So
no, I agree. And like I said, I mean, LSU, what's their one good thing they can do? They can score points. Like Garrett Nussmeier, he's really, really good. So, and then just what I said, Purdue covering against Oregon State. That'd be my last one. I got 5.5. I would still play it at 4.5 or what it is right now. I'd play it all the way to a field goal. I think it's going to be close. I think they even have a chance to win this outright. So, I mean, it's nothing against the Beavers. I just think that that's a wrong line. And I think they're going to be motivated and pissed off and getting 66 points put up. Like,
I still can't believe that Notre Dame did that. I thought that was going to be much closer. But
I looked at playing a little Miami, Ohio against Notre Dame this week, the 28 plus 28 points because of what they do against MAC teams. They just did that same exact thing. And until Notre Dame can show me they can score points by throwing the football, Chuck Martin is going to do the same exact thing he did last week to Cincinnati. He's going to put a QB spy, what he did on Brendan Sorsby, and he's going to put a QB spy right on Riley Leonard. And until Riley Leonard can do something down the field, I think he's going to have a hard time. They're going to spy him the whole game, and they're going to make it so he can't run the football. So
if you can give me two things on Saturday, it's Cal beating Florida State and Miami beating.
You're going with Cal beating Florida State, huh?
Oh, please, I beg that happens.
Is this a want or is this your feel? You think?
No, I just want it to happen.
Okay.
No, I'm not. Yeah, hell no, not going for it. But there's something about just Notre Dame, Florida State, some of these schools that have this air of just I don't know, arrogance, entitlement to them that when they lose games like this, it is just chef's kiss, just fucking perfect. I love it when things like that happen. So Florida State starting 0-4, losing to Cal. Notre Dame getting their second loss of the year to fucking Miami, Ohio. Mm-hmm. Oregon, as we said earlier in the show, Miami losing to USF. That would be another great one.
That's the one I want real bad. I want Miami to lose to USF in like some crazy Mario fashion of him like using weird timeouts or like calling run plays when he should be passing or like just something that he does that mismanage the clock and screw himself.
If I were to rank those three, what I would want to see the most, I would put the Miami losing to South Florida, number 1, Cal beating Florida State, number 2, and then the Notre Dame loss, 3. I swear that's that Cal game. I at least hope it's a good game. Like even if
4-0.
And just Florida State 0-4 after all their bitching and moaning last year about missing the playoff and then getting boat raced by Georgia in their the Sugar Bowl.
Yep.
Yeah, just thought that'd be so great to see that. And then like there are starting to question Mike Norvell, even though they just gave him a new deal and he's not going anywhere for like the next 3 years. It seems like at least.
Yeah, no, I mean he did so well last year that it's kind of tough. Yeah. He just doesn't have the pieces right now. So for sure.
All right, brother. I got to start getting some packing and get the hell out of this hotel room.
Yep, I got to go take a listen to the airport. So
where's she heading?
She is going to San Diego. Her birthday tomorrow.
Whale's vagina. Very nice.
Yeah, San Diego.
Yeah. There you go.
So yeah, it was good. A lot of good football this weekend. So I'll be watching it all. She's going to be gone, and I will be just camping out watching football. So
yeah, I'm golfing tomorrow at like noon or something like that. So I think I'll wake up at Sam's and get some of those 9 a.m. kicks in and hang out for a bit. And then I'll definitely be watching out on the course. Real quickly to end this, have you seen these drivers in Arizona?
The driving ranges?
No, driverless cars. Like there's like they are all over the place. They're called like Waymos, WAYMO. I've seen like I'm right over by the lobby like drop off area at the.
I don't know that I have.
Dude, it is like want to talk about feeling like an old man, Mel Kiper over here. Seeing cars show up, nobody driving them, and like dropping people off at the resort and just peeling off, driving away, nobody in them. And they have all these like sensors on them, like on the side and on the top of the car that are constantly spinning, and like they're fucking locked in, and they're like, it
seems unsafe.
Yeah. And I had like heard about these things forever. And then when I was here in January, Sam and I were driving somewhere, and we saw one. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's one of those driverless like Ubers, driverless like taxis." And I was like, "For real?" And he's like, "Yeah, there's nobody in the front seat." He's like, "Here, I'll drive up so you can see." And he like drove up next to it. And I look in, there's nobody in the fucking driver's seat.
I wonder if they're just doing that in like bigger cities,
I think it's Phoenix, and then I think like Austin and somewhere else has it.
They're trying him out, like a trial run or something.
I had heard of it, and then the first time I saw it, I was like, I don't know if I like that. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, that's a little scary.
I would not get in one of those things. Give me another like 10 years and maybe I'd consider it, but
that's flying cars 10 years. Okay.
Yeah, almost there.
Yeah. All right, man. We'll have a good time.
Your bachelor week.
Yeah. Place to myself. That's what I'm talking about.
Hell yeah. All right, brother. Win some money this weekend for me.
Yeah. Let's hope.
Yeah. All right. See you.
Peace.